The price of fame. Imagine you wake up tomorrow, go outside, and find that you are famous. Everyone knows you, everyone's smiling at you with fake politeness, with fake politesse. And everyone knows you by name, or even though they don't address you by name, they look at you and it's almost, they recognize you. It's like a familiarity, vague familiarity from you because you realize something is off. Your first gut reaction would be living the society, knowing the society we live in. Have I done something wrong? Am I a wanted man? But then again, people are friendly and polite and smile. So then you want to know, have I done something embarrassing? So you immediately log on, Google your name. What do you find? Who knows? And that's the price of fame. Because it's not so much as to be famous. It's about more about being famous for the wrong reason. No one wants to be the Rebecca Black of life, the girl whose father, dumped a whole bunch of money to make Friday famous, and Friday gets triggered. The spike of the graph gets spiked every Friday. You don't want to be the Justin Biebers of life, right? And even though if you were made fun of for being wrongly famous, even forgetting Justin, even Justin Timberlake, who was for the poster child for NSYNC, and then he made Alpha Dog, and suddenly he's like, "Well, we get it. Like, I mean, you're for real. You want to act. I mean." So if people actually, some people just can't help it, like Harry Potter guy Daniel Radcliffe. So I mean, sure, when he grows up, he'll be like, who knows? He could be like, oh shit, I'm not like a poster child for this nerdy magic kid, whom like these adults dress up as. I don't want to be that guy, but then they do a Volfas or something because they're serious actors. They have been doing for a long time, and he makes a movie like Escape from Pretoria or something, where he was mind blowing. So you can turn yourself around, but then, and by price of fame, I don't want to talk about Demi Lovato and her cocaine addict and those kind of things because that's not what I mean. Taoists would say the top part of the ladder is the weakest. It's unstable, least stable. It can always topple. Similarly, as Alan Watts pointed out, if, for instance, take now current situation, for instance, would you rather be Donald Trump or be a waste disposal man? Actually, neither. Actually, right? But who are the real heroes now? Paramedics, those people, first responders, and even waste disposal men. If they and the street sweepers, if they, as obscure as they may be, like the Delta Force or Navy SEAL, or like the gray man of the Delta Force and Navy SEALs, because when you become elite, if you want to reach that next level, then you realize that, and spoilers coming out for the movie Den of Thieves, so you can pause the video right now if you don't want to hear about Den of Thieves. So ultimately, it's the gray man. Real gray man is really the real gray man. You're invisible. It's almost like COVID. So no, that's too much. It's like COVID is the real gray man because it's invisible and no one. No, that's stupid. I'm just. This is where I start to lose it. But anyway, the point being, so yeah, you match that where there's certain aura about glorification of Yugen and obscurity. For instance, most of the videos, the music I like, the 90, the electronic, the Goa, pure, and it has to be Goa, 94, 95, 96, 97. These are the best electronic music in masterpieces, in my opinion. They are like the Michelangelo, Van Gogh, Matisse of music, basically. Not even electronic music, because the mainstream music is trash. And that's what I'm talking about. People are being famous for the wrong reasons, and even when they grow up, they'll be like, "Oh shit, what I was doing." Look at YouTube, all the product placement, all this good-looking poster boy kids chosen specifically and with their product placed in the right position and cherry picked. Before I thought, not even me, everyone thinks being viral is the shit, it's the ish. Everyone wants to be the viral, and that's what determines quality. But most of those electronic music videos have like very 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 low views, and I love that about it. In fact, I determine the quality of video by the opposite metric. Of the opposite metric, the less if it's around 1,000 views or 150, 500, 600, then I know it's good. If it's the moment it's trending about at a million views, I know it's like trash, and it's mostly the psytrance music which reaches that level, or if you take it even farther, Tiesto and those guys. But the quad, the gems are the hidden gems of YouTube are those with less views, and then you find some personal narration of Hindu miracles and or whatnot, or the video about the fireman from Java, who could like the raw unedited footage. Those are the real gems for me, and I love. And the more obscure they remain, the more the lure is. So in some weird way, I don't want my views to be seen and my videos to be viewed, because who knows? Maybe the videos that are not viral, antiviral, rather unviral. Imagine they're like the rejects from the Salon des Refugiés of the Matisse era, or like Monet, the Impressionists. Imagine the videos and it's not necessarily all videos. I'm talking about quality videos, and it's not I'm touting my one. Okay, sure, fair enough. My one included. Imagine this is where I'm raising my fist. We somehow, our video somehow, in the portal of time, after 300,000 years from now, are valued because of what we said, instead of kissing up and appeasing to vox populi. And I'm not talking about, I don't even care about my thing, and there's a reason for it, because yeah, and the reason being I don't want to be famous for the wrong reason. And the people I look up to, it's not I'm being salty and shitting on people who became famous, because people like who I look up to, like my dinner list: Eminem, David Blaine, Bill Maher, or even like people who does unbelievable things. And they may not be the ones I look up to, like Apple Robbins. I don't look up to him. But when we reach that level of mastery where you do supernatural things, Alex Honnold, Navy SEALs, or like people who climb Everest, or Wim Hof, or whoever, like whoever does impossible things, these are the people I look up to. And or even Formula One driver, whatnot, like Bradman in cricket, or Virat Kohli, or whatever, like Gale. Or so the paranoia is not about being famous, but being famous for the wrong reason. So the Raymond Smullyan story, where this guy whose only sole goal in life was not to amount to anything, one day he does find out that oh shit, I became famous. And that's where, again, spoiler, if you haven't read Smullyan's. So at the end, Smulyan says, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with this character now. And he leaves it open ended. Should he commit suicide, or should he go with the flow, or should he use it to benefit it? But then again, how can you preach? And that's the genius of Smulyan, the logician, who always talks about these paradoxes and catch 22, Ouroboros, snake eating itself, Klein bottle, Mobius strip, whatnot. Cantor paradox, Russell paradox, set within set, bootstrapping, Munchausen trilemma. So, and I've talked about the value of the useless life with the Dakar example in Senegal, and in that documentary they show some of the most genuine, beautiful moment where, after the end of days hard work, where they alchemized, metamorphosized the trash into pure art. They took a break and they were drinking beer, and they were just by the beach, and they were like, okay, this is the meaning of life, and they're getting satisfaction from them. That is their ikigai. That's their meaning to life, because after days of hard work, even though they're one of the poorest part of the world, the feeling, the sense of accomplishment of creating something, even this ipso facto, this fucking blogging, I somehow, even though I'm not a good orator and a speaker, and there's an art to it, I find, because I can always improve, and that's what keeps me going. The fool who persists in his folly gets wise. So you can always learn, and I'm an intelligent guy. I can pretty much figure this shit out. So, but the point being, now I'm genuinely concerned that what if some people, it starts to snowball, and my view, I start getting views and I get noticed. I don't want that because I don't want to be. I had lofty dreams of memorizing Oxford Dictionary, solving Riemann hypothesis, or whether it be being a cricketer, being a magician, or being an author or Nobel Prize, all those. And now I feel there how disgustingly, disgusting these lofty ideals were. But probably they were right. Probably they shaped me to be who I am right now. Because who the fuck would want to be? No one chases these accolades. Even Olympians. If you're being an Olympian just to get the gold medal, oh, wow, that's a poor little existence you live in. Because at the end of the day, you'll never find fulfillment. I don't care who you are, Kobe Bryant, LeBron. I don't give a shit. Michael Jordan, and no disrespect to a deceased person, but if I were to voice my honest opinion, I don't give a shit what the fuck you've accomplished in life. If you're all engrossed, if there was another ego trip, another deception, leisure demand of ego trip, you know, giving an eyewash to the world, because who cares? Who cares? Some guy became did this. I mean, and I can. I mean, again with Kobe, it was an unpopular opinion. I blogged about it, and I don't care if people hates it. But hey, all these people who went to his funeral, like millions, he wouldn't go to your funeral. And we have this celebrity worshipping us, and this it's just like a Klein bottle. The more that junk has been hog hogwash junk that has been produced, that comes out of the fucking ass, it just gets funneled straight into the mouth, into never-ending Klein bottle of fucking garbage and cesspool of. And there are some occasional gem, but Billie Eilish, Lizzo, seriously? Yeah, there's the dominant mainstream. And again, they're focused primarily to demographics of certain age and teenage, and probably appealing to the alternate lifestyle people. And I have no problem with any of these. I'm not again. But at the end of the day, I don't even want to be fucking famous for the right reason now. Who the hell would want to be famous? So So yeah, that was an apt example, pat example, how the waste recycle man and the people who like behind the shadows workers like are the real. I mean, they're the real guys pulling all the strings, whereas the bumbling buffoon like Trump is just the front page. I mean, front piece of some other people who are controlling the machinations and palace intrigue of life of politics in White House or any ultimately in the throughout the world, or like Kim Kardashian or even Donald Trump. I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah, he's entertaining. I mean, well, again, from that value, from that Joker-esque value, yeah. I mean, he lived this last part of his life, probably. How long, even if he lives for another 10, 20 years, or even 100, he rocked his life. But being a, I don't know, being a sleazeball that he is sometimes. But if he wants that to be his legacy, I mean, who am I to complain? But I wouldn't want to be this. Even if you give me $1 billion and say, okay, like even Conan, once he said this is the golden age of television. Really, there weren't a better age. I mean, this age out of all the and what's that's such a vague statement. I mean, how do you even define what do you determine as golden age and why? But this age, what do you mean by this age? Last 10 years, 5 years, decade, 20 years? It's like it almost is as much as he used to shit on the sponsors. He also has become a shill, and even he also does things to appease people. And even many comedians they talk about Trump making fun of Trump. Here again, just to show that I'm not just you know biased towards any like um I have my biases, but what I'm trying to say is even comedian I'll call you out even for from either end. Like if I sense detect any hint of inauthenticity, like I mean Kimmel and righteously so they talk about liberal sleaze, yeah, because you just want to appease the population, and it's all shaped by all this elite media and whatnot, and we just further get it's like a feedback loop, and it just went down spiral, I guess, in many ways. The quality, whether it be YouTube, mainstream music, movies. I mean, seriously, Avengers. That's what people like nowadays. CGI. I mean, I just saw Mandela Effect. It's obviously no fucking War and Peace, but still, it's much better. I'd rather watch that than fucking Avengers or some other CGI Marvel or even Fast and the Furious. And it's all, it's all strategically designed to like the elite, the gatekeepers, they dictate. And it's not just me spouting it. Even when I took political science, they talked about how we wouldn't have real democracy. It's all the elites controlling the taste, dictating the taste of the masses, the hoi polloi. Um, so yeah, yeah. If someone were to going back to Conan and being me, being a billionaire, like, and just so that I could give product placement to Nike and whatever, I wouldn't want to do it. I used to take sign, those homeless people sign, and that read "Ask Me Anything" and stand at the corner. Imagine if Google sponsored me and gave me like fucking $5 million. I wouldn't want to do it. That just takes the authenticity of it because they would have a polished side, and it dilutes the whole experience. The whole idea was, here I am with this bummy guy, no, obviously not dressed like a bum, but this normal guy with the bummy sign who apparently is daring people to ask him anything as if he knows everything, and that was the intention. And if if I were to do this, edgy, not edgy, like this glitzy, this chalky, is that how you say tchotchke? Tchotchke, 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 like gigo. That's another word. Basically means trinket. I don't want to be this another trinket like this. What do you call that? Another one? Quiche. I don't want to make fucking quiche art. And that's what all this spate of YouTube videos or and fucking even it's like quiche art, mumble rap, template, boilerplate, fucking TV drama, police serial. Art has gone to like even the Italian artist who put his shit and put it on the fucking museum. Even that probably has more originality and creativity than the shit produced by contemporary artists. And I'm not bitter and salty. I mean, and I'm grateful for the process then because it forced me to maintain my authenticity and integrity. Because Amazon, the fact that we get to self-publish our books, I wouldn't want an editor to take my book and take the soul and spirit out by over editing it and even editing it. I want it exactly just as it is. And so I guess good for having a platform like Amazon or even YouTube. I mean, yeah. But and before, if I were to die tomorrow, I would have no qualms that I didn't get views or viral, because now I finally realize that's not what ultimately the point of it is at all. So and then you get all this inauthentic compliment there, the spam bots, which deludes you to think that some people genuinely liked your video, and that's the trap of fame. There's this spam guy going around, but I don't want to give him more attention than he already has. So just like the value of the useless life and the value of the useless thing, imagine even this COVID-19 virus. Imagine it's just like a biological organism and it's so minute. So it's not even grandiose. It's not like a fucking nebula or like fucking not nebula, asteroid fucking slaughtered us. It's a microorganism which is completely in the wrong direction, which is like which is small, which is microscopic level, atomic almost, and it had its place somehow. Everything has its place. The fertilizers, be it compost, be it lice, be it this whole ecosystem of life, this Gaia consciousness. Even though I'm not a fan of this Gaia consciousness, solfeggio frequency, and everything. I'm not like I don't even believe. Probably there's something to it, but then you have to be in that intuitive state of mind to tune into those kind of, to embrace and receive those kind of vibrational like feelings, like basically when you're I do believe about the synchronicities of 11:11, those, but you have to be in that certain state, like where you're more one with the universe, when your kundalini rises, I guess, or you're awaken, or your third eye awakens, or whatever. um when you're the yoga, as they say, yoga means union, the yoke, of the cow yoke. So, but we all know that Mystica, even Unio Mystica, that's what this Unio Mystica, like union. So even from a Buddhist perspective, there was this monk who was dying, and there was another pupil. Here, the pupil gets to be the hero, and the monk was dying, and the guy took all his books and he started throwing in the fire. And the guy who was dying, the master said, "What are you doing?" And the pupil said, "No, no." He didn't say no. He said, "Look, what are you doing?" I fucked it. I butchered it. I mean, I am my over enthusiasm. But the point being, I mean, the people got the point. I mean, if you're dying, what do you care if your books are getting thrown in the fire, being roasted in the roast pit? Because then obviously you don't get the point. I actually had this conversation with my aunt, my kala, my elder aunt, Silet. Like I told her, maybe this is how do you know life will go on after you die? Maybe it's a dream. But there's also this naughty Hintergedanken idea. Yeah, I know life may not go on. It's just like not Schrodinger's, the Heisenberg's observer. I'm talking about the tree. If the tree falls, no one dares to see it. Like if you don't perceive it, can the reality still be there? That kind of notion. But um, if I die and the world doesn't go on, there's still this sneaking suspicion and this naughty idea. Yeah, I know the world may not go on after I die, but what if I want to do something just for fun, just to see if I can leave a legacy? Yeah, like because you don't know, it could be either or. Like Pascal's wager. This is not like Pascal's wager, and there's a flaw in Pascal's wager. Like yeah, but that's another kind of forms I don't want to get into right now. So there's can be a distinct possibility. It's just like a video game. Once you stop the video game, when unplug it, the reality is not that there anymore. I mean, and people assume that after we die, the world will go on. Then there will be, and who knows? Maybe there will be World War III and 3000, 5000 AD, and finally, like the Asimovian way, there will be singularity, and the humanity will march to light in both not only symbolic but in literal physical form. There'll be a metamorphosis of people being light and merging onto in this blob of globulus, this bulbous, this glowing orb of halation of light. Maybe why do I say light? Maybe ultimately that's what light is. Like light is the real. Intuitively, we can intuit how light is the real. There's a people who does DMT that love is the ultimate reality. David Icke said that, or like light is the reality. In Christianity, there's a God is love. So I guess, and then there's this fear. Like, what if black wins? What if black wins in chess or like overall? What if Satan? But ultimately, even Satan gets, I guess, pardoned or whatever. So yeah, going back to original theme, the price of fame, the motive. I wonder what other kind of musical terms are there. The I mean that describes this pattern. Motive is one. Recapitulation is the recapitulation is a segment. Like adagio is more like a that doesn't. It's not like okay. The different sense like octave is not same as adagio is not same as like motive because motive is just a pattern. Octave is just I guess measure of a note, and adagio al dente or al dente and acapulco accentura, those are like the what do you call that, rhythm. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not good with music theory is another untapped part of my brain, and that's I think accelerated learning has to do with that. Like when I devoured the books on philosophy, that was completely foreign to me. I was in high school taking philosophy, and then my door got opened by a professor, and he was a nice guy, even though I think he had PhD. I was gonna say even though he had PhD. No, but the point be, and then I started reading, and then I was like I couldn't stop because that was like unknown, and that's the thing. Like even stock market, I have a penchant for that right now, even though we're in doom and gloom situation right now because that's an un this it's kind of like video game where this uncharted territory and you just once you activate that you feel like you have to like a jigsaw puzzle you have to not excavate explore the whole excar is excar a word excar excursion. I wonder. And even though, like, no matter how famous you are, ultimately the you will come down. The high will wear off. What is Sylvester Stallone doing? Who the fuck cares? And imagine how a big shot he was. And there are probably about thousands and tens of thousands of celebrities who used to be there, their peak at that time. Again, it's not by no means to knock on them, but the stark, I mean, the bitter truth is it's frail, and Buddhists were, I guess, right. Old age, sickness, not be, and we get to get a taste of it first. And again, I don't mean it in a Schadenfreude way, but you have to accept what it is for what it is. And what if this? I mean, the skeptics, if they die and they realize they have the soul, and the soul is in denial that there can be another realm, it's because of the soul they'll suffer, but they'll deny that there is a soul. And I don't know, but some people, as Dunninger said, Joseph Dunninger, for those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, none will suffice. I don't believe that we're being punished or anything. Just like they say, we're not punished for our sins, we are by our sins. Like, whatever your vice was, you'll be suffering because of that. If you're like fucking, I don't know, insurance scammer, yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore. Like, whatever you're doing, yeah, if you're an ambulance chaser, lawyer, I guess you have to find other creative ways to do that right now. Like, whatever your vice or fault was, ethical, axiological, you'll be trapped by that. Just like the movie Saw, even the cops weren't spared because cops go there and arrest people. And in the movie Saw, I saw how they were trapped, like the trapdoors came in and they were trapped in this. It's like, and that was kind of subtle, but ingenious. Like devised ingeniously how people, whatever, like obviously the needle in the haystack one was pretty obvious, but and most of them were obvious. Like, but I think God is kind of like that, a psychopath, and he is devising like these traps. And like even cops right now, like, I mean, yeah, what are the bad guys? You're gonna go and touch it, go into your heroin addict's crib and like fucking touch his filthy things with fucking latex glove. Again, not to knock on anyone, but the point being, the point, I don't even know what the point is, because I went to COVID-19 trying to tie it up with fucking price of fame. Yeah, so COVID-19 exposed the frailty of all the things we held dear, the values, and what that really mattered. That we're forced to live, like, to come to back to our family, spend hours and hours with our family, and like question. It's like a sort of like an interjection, an exclamation mark to our real, to a life, to a view of reality. How the meaninglessness, mayhem, the senselessness of it, of all. And I'm saying it because I'm privileged and blessed. I will acknowledge that, because I'm not hanging. We're not hanging by the sword of under the sword of by the thread of the sword of Damocles, with being that impending doom and gloom. Then that's probably because we had a simple life. But and I had nothing to brag about. It's like those who have nothing. There's a view of the man who wants to offer naked man who wants to offer his clothes. Well, I'm that guy. I'm the naked guy, but and I had nothing to offer though. So, in fact, I'm the one who'll take the jacket. But I'm rambling right now. That was the story. Like, I think that is Taoist in nature. How the king wanted to find, the emperor wanted to find the happiest man, and finally they found. It's kind of like Diogenes' story. The Diogenes, the stoic. Was he the stoic or a cynic? I think he was a stoic. Yeah, on the pipe and the Alexander Sunlight story. But then the king found this guy naked finally, and he said, "He's the happiest man." Because, but that is, I don't. You shouldn't take. Alan Watts would also point it out. You should take everything with grain of salt and not too literally. I mean, yeah, man, fuck that. I don't want to be fucking naked in the cold weather and bitter and shit. No, no one wants that. I guess a balance, but and again, when you let go of all the things you used to do, like when I have my Kundalini rise, I could never force myself to do running. Like after 5 steps, I would just, even though I love running and I can probably go for I don't know, half a mile, I guess, without stopping. But I had to force. We had this incredible, it's almost like wearing these gravity boots, because if Kundalini makes you, it confronts your real authenticity, intuitive feeling. You have to get in touch with it. If you hate running, even though there's the runner's high at the end. I mean, if you want to get the runner's high and if you want to run, but make sure, I mean, if you're not running just because of the love of running, in order to, like, because for both the mean and the end, but just for the end, it'll hold you accountable. So, and anything in life. And that's why people, when the Kundalini awakens, they lose interest in many of the stuff they think they used to love doing, but they don't do it anymore. And it basically is rewiring. It's like, it's rewiring. Ultimately, you do get back to some of the stuff, but it's like your mind expands, your brain, the uncharted parts get lighted up, activated, and you love more thing, and you realize there's it depends what you want to choose. And mostly when that happens, I'm resonant with more authentic people who doesn't beg for likes, comments every time for some reason. And for some reason they also had tattoos. It's like those people, and they had a strong voice, authentic voice, and you could tell these people like don't want anything. They're just out there just to share the knowledge and give, instead of just manipulating to get views and likes, and or even to fill their own pockets. Again, if you want to be self-help gurus, enlightenment teacher, and help people out with for money, then no problem with that. But at least at least own up to it. Don't be too good. That's what I'm saying, because there's something icky and odious about it. Something miasmic about it. And that's part of embracing your shadow. I mean, young shadow, to realize that no matter who we are, we're never good 100%. But I wonder, was it meant to be like this at what one stage a child, I guess, if you want to talk about Piaget or anything, like what point of child development psychology has he realized there is, like, or some people don't. They think they're under this blissful, this opium, like fucking opa lotus fag guy, like fucking blissed out, opiumed out state of headspace, where they think that they're nice, and they did no wrong, and then finally they see the shadow and they realize all the ugliness that they're hiding. And like, yeah, the saint complex, basically the saint complex, holier than thou complex. The real saint, one of my favorite movies is Law Abiding Citizen, and I like how he was, this Gerald Butler was the innocent. And again, I will hark back to Count of Monte Cristo, because this is the only book that I can relate to in terms of this coming of age, this from innocence to this mature, like, as assertive, neutral guy. That as and Jim Caviezel did a good part in depicting him. So going back to Clyde Sheldon's, played by Gerald, he was this innocent guy, this good, and he thought world was good. Again, with Peppermint, I again brought that out. This whole vigilante genre, and they realized, these people, you know, I would love to see the background of Blacklist, James Spader. Like, these people realized that, yeah, they viewed the world through low rosy colored lens, and then they get the shock and jerks them out of their conscience, and they realize. But I think Clash Sheldon kind of went the extreme other way. The point be, but still, I think if there's a sense of enlightenment, then he got. I mean, if there's a concept of enlightenment, I would say the good Clash Sheldon, the bad, evil Clash Sheldon is more enlightened than the good one. And we, as a society, tend to assume goodness and with holiness with enlightenment, which is complete bullshit. Just because you're Dalai Lama, it doesn't mean you're enlightened. Just because you're enlightened, it doesn't mean you have to be Dalai Lama. Again, and the opposite is true. You could be Dalai Lama and be enlightened. Nagarjuna talks about the four tetralemma, chatralemma, I think, or however you say it. Like, there are so many possibilities. Like, and there's the omega consistency in maths. Even though I'm not too familiar with it, Gödel, I think Gödel came up. Gödel or Gödel came up with it. Like, this statement is for true. This statement is false. Omega consistency, I think, is like where both can hold true, or like both hold consistent at the same time, something like that. But in going back to more basic primitive terms, and not harking Lukasius or multi-value logic, fuzzy logic, but for tetralemma, where They say like all is reality, all is not reality, neither all is reality, neither all is reality not, nor all is reality, something like that. So you get the feeling how there's so many different possibilities, and you can even make that carry on, like not in a multivalued logic form, but into more different variations. But or Tower of Babel, how all the books can be created binary from binary symbols. Imagine this sentence: John is good, John is bad. That's one variation. Or Jill is bad. Okay. Actually, even just if you were to take three words, John is good, right? And you have to take a negation operator. There are so many billions of possibilities. Like John is good, and John is not good. John is good, but John is not good. John is good, but John is okay. I think we come. Okay, John is good. Neither is John good nor John bad. Like, and they're all different meanings. And you can, if you add in the second person, like Jill, Jack and Jill, you like Jack is good, Jill is bad. Jack is good, but Jack is neither good. Like, and that's how mathematics, and not mathematics, like basically, or if you were to bring it down to notation, not and one, or like on and off, and you get the Zor logic or whatever, and NAND, and those digital logic, those possibilities. And the point I'm trying to get is it only takes two values. Like even the library of Babel, the Babel or talked about, just imagine you can write a book that has all the A's in it, right? And you can write another book, and assume they're all lowercase, with A and B, and then it just explodes. The book could be A B A, or it could be A B A, or it could be A B, or it could be A B A, assuming there's finite spaces to fit them all. The variations are infinite almost, or are they? Are they infinite, or it depends how many finite spaces are there, how many. And I think that's where the partition comes in, probably. That's some partition. Is that where the partition comes in? The Ramanujan partition equation. That's an interesting complex equation, Ramanujan partition one. And partition problem seems like an easy problem, but it's not. And it took Hardy and Littlewood and Ramanujan a long time. So yeah, I think I'm deviating away from the original topic, how the price of fame, like, yeah. So, and that's the thing. No one wants to, and media is especially wants you to make you famous for the wrong reason, paint you in a bad picture. Imagine the people whose face gets in the fucking suicide, depressed, or like sex trafficking, or like fucking weight loss advertisement. They're famous, but they get compensated for it. But at what cost? They're like basically selling the identity for now, for the rest of their life. They'll be forever the picture of that depressed person, suicide person, or like Weight Watcher. Like, assuming there was a good one for Weight Watchers, or like, or not Weight Watchers. Again, I can't talk about brands. I shouldn't, because I don't want to get fucking sued or shit. Again, this is for entertainment. Nothing is. But the point being, yeah, I don't want to be like fucking face off. And I did everything. I did all those things. Like I wanted to get my name quote on the kombucha, GTS kombucha and whatnot, get a retweet, and everyone wants that secretly, even though they might not admit it. And so going back to the Conan, I didn't riff more on it. Yeah, Conan has to keep his executives happy. They used to talk about this, to follow this pattern. They have to follow this format. And it becomes so unfunny and dry sometimes. And his the most funniest ones are the remote, where he's completely of the, the loose cannon, and completely his natural self without any. And the joke, which are like the monologue, quote unquote monologue jokes, it just becomes so dry and stale because they're overperform over. And that's the thing with comedy. And people say, oh, if you're so funny, what didn't you do for a living? But maybe no one, not many people wants that. Many people wants to cherish and treasure those authentic, genuine moment of funny that happens naturally, whether you're smoking a bong with your friends in a fucking park or something or not. Again, not everyone wants, like, we have this, and there here I might go against Alan Watts, and I will assume I would be inclined to see what his response was. Like you say, the only way to be master is doing the things that you love, and the money will come. But I would even ask him, but if a true Taoist, would he really harm it? Would he really actually try to make his living out of his shtick? Would he? No, because even he himself had one of his books was what was it? The poem. Oh, Cloud Hidden Whereabouts Unknown. I think that's one of his biographies, I think, or like his books, and that's the Yugen vibe that 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 allure that he had towards, and that I have towards this. Like, I won't go to you. If you want an answer, you come to me, and then I'll reject you like this monk on the hut up on the mountain hill, and he has a pupil too, and he went harp gathering in the clouds. Well, obviously, when I mean by that, if I, it's almost like, imagine like Perelman, Grigory Perelman, or some other guy who solved Riemann hypothesis. He lives in the hut, and he knows how it is, and he's like, fuck this, I'm not gonna share this with anyone, or any other secret to like holy grail of mathematics, PNP or life. Imagine if someone, actually, there is an answer to the vaccine right now, but I guess it's all about testing and formalities. I don't think it's like so intractable or obscure and abstruse, is that how you say it? Abstruse that people cannot solve it. It's just, I wonder what would be the P and P of the by like cellular automaton, like all this disease by like Conway of this biological, like, can you figure out an algorithm that take cares of this automatically finds it? And is vaccine mathematical or not? Because it's based on genomes and codes. There was this book by Gregory Chetan, and he did Lisp, and he also had, he riffed briefly on biology. Because cellular biology is also mathematics, is genome and shit. And I wonder how much mathematics depends on vaccination, or vaccination depends on mathematics rather, because or is it possible to find with the ultimate algorithm, which will find another algorithm which will find the vaccine of any disease, not COVID-19, but any similar flu like disease, or SARS, or whatever, coronavirus rather. Like, that would be interesting thing to look at. But obviously, if you cannot, I mean, it's not like you can solve PNP type of problem. Again, obviously, I'm not an expert or master on those complexity zoo, PS space, or anything. And here I'm freestyling off the top of my dome, so forgive me, complexity nerds, if I'm making a mistake. I got that from Duncan Russell. He was like, forgive me, synth nerds. He's a funny guy. Duncan Russell, I love his vibe, and I've been watching him a lot on Joe Rogan, and these two like are the perfect complement. I wish I could do a podcast with guys like him, and I guess it's sort of like a therapy, but it's like me, and because I don't plan what I'm gonna say, so completely Ajahn Brahm-esque, except I don't have the wisdom of Ajahn Brahm, and again, my guiding the thing that I look up to, the light, the torch that leads me, is the fact that how Ajahn Chah forced him or his students to speak continuously for 1 hour or 2 hours and 3 hours, and even though they were breaking down, is because, and it's self-conscious and whatever. But so again, I think the best way to not focus on that is to actually go back to the main topic, to deviate from the um so price of imagine the guy, actually I think it'll be a group of scientists who comes up with the vaccine for coronavirus, and they'll be famous, they'll probably get Nobel Prize, and good for them. But that's where we depart, the road not taken, or rather the road taken rather, because I mean, what if, yeah, like, and it's not because I'm saying it's because because I have thin skin, or people, or rather, because of the thin skin effect that I won't be able to handle criticism or the bad reviews when it comes. No, yeah, partially, but at the same time, I don't want to be there for the wrong reason. Like, even with books that I wrote on Amazon, Google Zeeshan Mahmud, that the shitty books, I don't want that to trend. I mean, even if someone to pay me for that shitty book to trend, I wouldn't want it. Even though some of the books that looked that it should be selling are selling, like, obviously not. I say obviously because it's like a trick question. It's like, though, if I say it that way, I'll be like, oh, look at this guy, he's talking about selling. And if I being honest, and it's like not selling, he's like, I'm underselling myself. Underselling. Okay. It's like, anyways, maybe I'm overthinking it. Understanding, overthinking. The point I'm trying to make is it's not about that. It's not about being salty and being hating those people. It's become being true to oneself, maintaining, preserving one's integrity. You know, or even there's nuanced, like, even though some things are difficult, like Shen Yun, fucking that guy sucks. The Shen Yun guy, because America's Got Talent, that's another rigged fucking shtick. Like, that's another front, because there was a guy, Rihanna, not Rihanna, what's her name? Rihanna, Rihanna, I think. Rihanna, the scary, the creepy girl, like her magic, her entire performance is mind bending, and the Shinwon guy, or Shinwon, or whatever name, he does all this leisure, like this sleight of hand. You know that it's sleight of hand, and it's not like, and the only reason why you're suspending your fucking belief is because to play along with his fucking thing. And he does all this. A magician would, as if would never like do all this. You can see me right now, but I'm making all these exaggerated movements. But the thing, if someone say, "Hey, you'll be like Shane Yun," or like "fuck that," or like David Copperfield, fuck that, I don't want to be that guy. And even though someone say, "Okay, maybe you'll wake up tomorrow and somehow by reality you will, it's not a dream or anything, you will have climbed Everest and you'll be famous for known for that." I'm not sure if I want to entirely take that. Maybe that's what I mean by true to oneself. Like, is that what I really wanted to do all my life long? No. So it's about being not famous, but being recognized, gaining the recognition for the right reason, not even fame, like, and even not even recognition. I mean, who the fuck cares? I mean, some of the best videos on YouTube are the obscure ones. Some of the best books I've found in life are probably not even trending on Amazon. And that's why I'm so anti fame right now. And I am becoming like that guy in Smulian's character who doesn't want to fucking be seen, be found. At least not for the right reason, wrong reason, or even for the right reason, because it's just that just wouldn't be me. Suppose this video gets all viral, but the one that I really loved, the one with low quality, the authentic one where I memorized 20 digit, and that brought gave me so much dopamine rush and joy. That, and even, you know what? The better example would be Facebook comment. There was, I don't even care for 1000k likes from unknown people who I don't know, and just a single or like 10 notification that you got 1,000 likes. Rather, when you have these personal connections and this burst of those happy faces, those, no, sorry, haha emojis, but just one or two because you make this crack some weird jokes, or even the ones you give, those probably have more meaning. And I know I'm making a big deal out of imaginary points, but what I'm trying to say, but even that is some genuine, like, people say some funny shit on the internet. So, and when you, and those, and it doesn't have to be all like 8,000 billion likes or anything. Like, I guess that's what my crux of my argument is. Like, be authentic, don't compromise yourself. Be authentic. Just because a Navy SEAL Goggins or someone says that, oh, you should do this, and you'll reach that, just fuck that. Just because they have, or the Harvard professor, whatever, grow some balls, man. Just because it works out for that, truth may be relevant to him, it's not necessarily true for me. I once asked a question like, is the reality on acid veridical, meaning is that the real truth? And then, but that's not the point. The real the story I'm trying to get to it. And then I had this guy answered, and he was brilliant. This therapist. I know. I think the therapist, like this case manager, I think, and he was a hippie, and I shouldn't be talking more about him, but well, then again, it's not under HIPAA or anything. But he said, and then at one point I was like, but God is not gay. Like we're talking about the spiritual Advaita, whatnot, and that triggered him because he thought I was homophobic, but what I meant by God is not gay, I realized when I under some visions I had that what I meant by that is like God is cool, like it's almost like not human, like almost electrical, like this algorithm, also not digital, but almost like the energy, and that energy is bright, is like not this nature sort of posters you see on the, like you don't think like this fluffy, not fluffy, like this feel good demotivational poster like nature and pond, which says Taoism is this or God is this, spiritual is that. People has this cliche image on what spirituality, holiness, Taoism, nature should be. God is not nature. Nature is not God. God can be artificial, like the movie Eagle Eye that I think mentioned here, or in my other podcast, the other video. Yeah, like he could, I bet, if the energy is so powerful, they could make glitch right now and with the microphone, make it not record. It's again, but if you say that Dow is computer is Dow is IBM, they'll think it's a you're selling IBM under the package of Taoism. But that's the thing, and that's another thing with Taoism is like people think it has to be this cheesy thing about, hey, in the hood, Compton, there can be Taoist. Like I had this page on Facebook. It's called what? I even forgot. I think it's Taoism Homie or something like that. And I put the journey of a man begins with the journey of a thousand man begins with a single step. That one, and I put all this graffiti and shit, and then the Tao the. But that the point I was trying to reach, is like get across was like, yes, it's like you can't. It's like this thingamabob or like thingamajig. Like you can't put your finger on it. Literally, any conceptions of, and what I mean by Tao is, I mean is like the essence, true essence of our spirit is like, because by definition, if you talk about it, it's like you're not being it. You're just talking about it. The map is not the territory, Kojipski would say, or like, and that's why I'm skeptical when the Navy SEALs have exceeded learning under sensory because when you're doing sensory deprivation, your Kundalini authority awakens, and you're more, even with the basketball players, just Stephen Curry or anything. And I wonder if they'll become depressed and break down because you take this person, you take him in the clear meditative state, and you expect him, even though he's blitzed out, and it's almost kind of like MK Ultra esque. You put acid, make them fucking all enlightened, and like deprogram or program them, depattern them. There was a badass book, except fucked up by the author. I think the Van Lustbund or whatever, the Robert Ludlum book, Ambler Warning. He talks about depatterning a lot, and the start was beautiful, except at the end he died, and some other guy finished it for him, and he sucks. I'm cynical and bitter. I think everything sucks. I'm like Schopenhauer. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Even if you make me a millionaire and be famous, fuck that. I wouldn't want to be. But there's some aspects of fame and money that I do admire and crave. But like, yeah, I'm not rich shaming or like shitting on the rich or famous, like, because but this concept of this you see in the videos of Lux or A Lux or something, or top 10 rich, and or you see on the vision boards or the of secret or law of attraction, where it's always this like money pouring in. That's not abundance really means. Abundance, and that's what distorts and dilutes and warps the message actually, because that's not what abundance really means. Abundance doesn't mean gluttony, greed. Abundance means, and that's where most people conflate it, contentment. Yeah, Oshiba Sensei, Morihei Oshiba, founder of Aikido, said that At 80, I'm still a baby because then ultimately Aikido is all about growth. Aikido is in everything. Movement is in everything. Aikido is in every movement. And then Tony Robbins also said that it's all about growth. But at the same time, growth is not all about me like a fucking another treadmill rat race hamster on a wheel trap where you're chasing with your fucking tongue sticking out for the another dopamine hit and cocaine rush, and you're chasing from fucking ayahuasca to DMT to fucking ibogaine to vipassana, and like you're always trying to go for the next big thing as if because that's another deception, another duping, another fucking eyewash, another fucking not skullduggery. What is skullduggery? Skullduggery means dishonesty, scam, right? Yeah. Amen.